The study of geography is more than just about memorizing places on a map. It's about understanding the complexities of our world, appreciating the diversity of cultures that exist across continents. And in the end, it's about using all that knowledge to help bridge divides that bring people together. That Barack Obama's pretty wise, eh? I think that geography will probably interest you if you have any of these interests. If you question development and inequality that you see around the world and wonder why and how that can take place. If you enjoy finding out about current affairs and follow the news and ask questions when you see different articles on the news. If you enjoy the wonders of the world around you, if you go for a walk and really appreciate those things in nature. If you're constantly asking questions about how the world works and what processes have shaped our planet. And if you see natural disasters, whether they be on the news or in documentaries, and you ask questions about how that's taking place, why that's happening, and why it seems to affect different places differently, then geography is the subject for you. So what does it entail at GCSE? GCSE geography is split into 3 different papers. The first is mainly a physical paper, and it's then split into 2 sections, the living world and the challenge of natural hazards. The living world includes the study of ecosystems around the world, different biomes, including tropical rainforests and deserts. We look at 2 examples of those, and we try and understand why they are where they are within the planet and the opportunities and challenges that they can offer. We also look at physical landscapes in the UK, and we look at how rivers change and shape the UK, and how the coastline has been changed and shaped and can be managed as well. We look at the challenge of natural hazards, and within that we look at 3 main natural hazards. We look at tectonic hazards with some examples. We look at weather hazards, so hurricanes, etc. And we also look at climate change. And I think this is one of those big ones because it's so important at the moment. We see it in the news all the time, and it's going to completely change and influence our planet over the next 100 years. And the more we know about that, the better. And starting that journey earlier is the key to making sure that we progress our knowledge and understanding of it. The second paper is a mainly human geography paper. It's called The Challenges in the Human Environment, and there are 3 sections to it. Urban issues and challenges, including looking at developing countries, which we call newly emerging economies, and how cities are going through rapid urbanization as a result of lots of opportunities that are being offered there. But they are also experiencing lots of problems. And so what we look at is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. We look at the opportunities they're offering people, this huge, diverse, culturally interesting, growing city, but also the challenges. We all know about the high crime rate and the murder rate and the drugs problems in that city, and we find out a bit more about those. We also look closer to home and we look at cities in HICs, in high income countries. Specifically, we look at the UK and we look at Southampton. And you'll notice through the geography course, there's an international element followed by a UK-based element. And I think that gives us a really good partnership between those 2 so that we're looking outward and then we're looking local. And that's really important. So within Southampton, we look at migration, we look at the growth of the city centre and how it's changed over the last 2 decades. And we look at the opportunities that it offers both students and anybody that's moving towards the city. We also end by looking at making cities more sustainable. And again, this is one of those really important elements because more and more businesses have a sustainability section to them. They are asking people to work for them to make them more sustainable. And that includes businesses, that includes cities and towns and villages, and it's going to be a growing industry. The changing economic world focuses on the variation in development that I mentioned at the beginning of this, and variations in quality of life, life expectancy, etc. It's one of those things that I've been fascinated with all my life, how being born in, say, Ethiopia and having a life expectancy of 47, and being born in the UK and having a life expectancy of 80, and why that happens, and how can we do something about that, and how can we raise the life expectancy up in less developed countries. So we look at specifically an NE called Nigeria in North Africa, and again we look at the UK and how our relationship with the European Union is changing, and how our relationship with the rest of the world is changing. We also look at investment and development, including HS2 rail network and investment in the road and transport industries. And the third section we're looking at is the challenge of resource management. And so we look at the inequalities in resource distribution around the planet. We look at food, water, and energy, but very much so we go in much more detail in food distribution. We look at how the food in the UK is made and distributed, where we get most of our food from. But we also look at how internationally food is distributed and how some countries struggle to have a secure food supply. The third section, and the third paper, should I say, sorry, is geographical application and skills. This is less knowledge-based and is more skills-based, and includes a huge fieldwork section. And so at the beginning of year 11, students go off to Christchurch and Hanging Head, and we do some fieldwork in both of those locations on the day. They'll then be asked questions in an exam based on the research they did and how reliable their results are. They look at unseen fieldwork as well, shorter questions based on the skills they've developed as a result of their own investigations. The second part of this paper is issue evaluation. And we'll get a booklet 12 weeks beforehand, and that booklet will be based on a topic that we've looked at in the main part of the course. And they get to analyze that booklet before the exam, and they'll get a fresh booklet in the exam on which they'll be asked several questions. So this is mainly a skills-based section with graphical, statistical, and map skills. So as I said, there's 3 papers there. You can see them with the weightings included. And you can see the first 2 papers have a heavier weighting than the third paper, but only just. So where does geography lead? Well, it's just the start, really. And so depending on the path you choose, depends on where you head, really. Geography GCSE leads to obviously geography A level, and you can have that as just a direct geography A level, or you can have that as human geography. There are some places that do physical geography as well, but not very many. But they do have a lot of places that do environmental science. From that, you can look at university and go to study either a BA or a BSc in geography. But there are many, many, many other options, which are geographical-based degrees, but not directly called geography. So I know of students that have gone on to do international development with certain languages, or they've done sustainability or meteorology or studies in climate change. And depending on the university degree that you study will obviously depend on the job that you end up going towards. I have friends who are environmental scientists, who are town planners, who work for the Environment Agency. So there's a big variety of jobs that you can go to. But even if you choose not to take geography into those different fields, it's the skills that you develop during the course which are really important and that employers do look for. So analytical skills, transferable skills, evaluation skills, all of them are very, very important and lacking in a lot of students as they leave schools. And so geography is really one of those courses that provides a huge and important opportunity and fills a massive gap in the market. So the final thing I would like to say is, where would we be without geography? I hope you found this interesting, and have any more questions, ask your geography teachers.